Hey everybody, hope you're all having a good day. It's Friday, and we're still doing the trilogy. We are on the trial section of the second day of Turnabout Time Traveler. And so let's get into it. If we do finish this, then that's essentially Polo Justice finished, but we will see. No, let us go. Also, if we finish really early, I might just swap over to Kingdom Hearts 2 so we can get some of the side stuff I have to do. Puzzle pieces and whatnot, so we can focus more on the actual gameplay later. Anyway, September 23rd, 8:50 a.m. District Court, Defend Lobby number 3. So one thing you found out yesterday is that Soren was there at the crime scene. I only hope I can get some testimony from him that will get to the heart of the matter. Is that right? Good morning, Lillian. Look, I'm afraid you might not like the results of today's trial. The result of today's trial. Nevertheless, tell me you're still thinking of going that route? Soren is innocent! He can't be found guilty! Take me instead! Lillian, please! Try to get your hold of yourself. I believe in Soren with all my heart. So how dare you doubt him? Regardless of which one of them is found guilty today, it's going to be devastating for Lillian, isn't it? We'll just have to do everything we can. That's the best we can do, you know. The trial's about to begin, Mr. Right? Alright, let's go, Maya. Yeah. And courtroom number 6. It's definitely courtroom number 6 this time. Alright, September 23rd, 9 a.m. District Court. Courtroom number 6. That's the only one we got right because we knew it. It was continuation. Anyway, day 2. Court is now in session. All rise! Court is back in the session for the trial of Lane 1. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. Let's see now. Where were we? In yesterday's session, we found out about the Sprockets family conspiracy. Cover up the murder of Duma Bloomsbury with a second reception. Taking advantage of our collective shock, the defense, as usual, made a nonsensical claim. Namely, that there was a third person present who struck the victim.
Objection!
Hey, don't try to make it sound like I made it all up. The defendant herself made a statement about the assistance of a third person. And further investigation has only proven her statement to be true. And I presume the defendant intends to focus on proving the identity of this third person. Is that alright with you, Mr. Edgeworth? Afternoon, Jason. Hope everyone good day. Indeed, Your Honor. In fact, I predict that the defendants will, most likely, attempt to name Mr. Soren Sprocket as the true culprit. How did you... The driver during the accident that killed Mr. Sprocket's sister was the victim. Therefore, Mr. Sprocket had a motive to murder Mr. Bloomsbury. That's what you plan to assert, is it not, Mr. Wright? Am I that transparent? Come now, Mr. Wright. Did you really think the police wouldn't uncover this information? Congrats on getting it, and one, Mr. Edgeworth. Hold in! But... You're wrong! Soren didn't do it! He's innocent! Miss what? Please! He's innocent, I tell you! What is this, Mr. Wright? I thought you claimed about the assistance of a third person came from the defendant. It did. This is just a minor hiccup. Did you not discuss your strategy for today with the defendant, Mr. Wright? Starting off on the wrong foot again is seriously cutting into my lifespan. It would appear that the defense is in disarray. Therefore, the best way to clear things up is to ask Mr. Sprocket himself what happened. Your Honor, the prosecution would like to call Soren Sprocket to the stand. What? Very well, bailiff, please bring Mr. Sprocket to the witness stand. Miss, please state your name and occupation. Oh! There's something written on this paper airplane. Let's see. Soren Sprocket, Managing Director of Sprocket Avalion. Mr. Sprocket, please keep your answer in words, not paper airplanes. Now then, Mr. Sprocket, please tell that doubting lawyer there or what really happened at the time of the crime. Well, Mr. Sprocket. Mr. Sprocket! Alright. You want me to talk about what happened when the crime occurred? In other words, after the first wedding reception. When Elaine and I were in the reception hall, right? Even the power of the court can stop him from marching to the beat of his own drum. Soren remembers. I was stabbed by Dumas in the reception hall, and I collapsed to the floor. The next thing I saw was Elaine and Duma on the visa deck. I knew Elaine was in danger, so I headed to the visa deck for the visa deck. But when I got there, Duma was already... I don't want to believe it, but it must have been Elaine. Nothing else makes sense. Wait just a minute here. You actually think Miss Watt killed the victim? That's right. Duma was killed by Elaine. This is unbelievable. How can you suspect your bride, the woman you love?
Objection!
The truth can be cruel. Miss Watt, you must be very upset. Is there anything you wish to say? Oh, I believe this. Soren. I thought that at least you would believe in me. The best way now to show your love for your groom is to admit your guilt and try to atone. Soren.
Hold it!
Mr. Edgeworth, I haven't even crossed some of the witness yet. And quit picking on the clearly distraught. Yeah, that's not cool, Mr. Edgeworth. The court is where we seek the truth. And the truth is unyielding. Even to the truly pitiful. Edgeworth! Find it distasteful to make a lady cry! To your honor! So what are we gonna do, Nick? The third person Elaine saw on the visa deck was Soren. And we have to prove Soren was there at the time of the murder. I don't see any obvious inconsistencies in his testimony, but we have to push forward. Alright.
Hold it!
Please tell me everything you can about when you got stabbed. After the reception, Elaine and I were enjoying in a moment alone in the reception hall. Then Dumas appeared and stabbed me. He grabbed Elaine and the timekeeper and left the reception hall. Did Musical in charge say anything at that time? I don't remember. After I was stabbed, I was immobilized by the pain. Let's see.
Hold it!
The visa deck, huh? It was nighttime then. Could you really see them in the darkness? They're moving out so I can see them clearly. From the looks of it, Duma was trying to push a lane on the tank keeper off the side. So you saw the defendant. You're about to be thrown off the airship, you say? That's right. In such a desperate situation, it would only be natural for her to fight for her life. And the murder weapon was right there within her grasp. This isn't going well at all. I have to do something fast.
Hold it!
I understand that your bride was in danger, but... Were you really about to move a stab wound to the gut? I was desperately trying to push the pain out of my mind. See, so adrenaline kicked in and gave you strength, is that right? I don't see much anything in this statement I can refute. That's right. I was passing several times and made me wait to the visa deck.
Hold it!
Are you absolutely sure, Mr. Sprocket? That by the time you get to the visa deck, the murder had already been committed? Okay. Alright, sorry. Check something. Oh, sorry. Yes. I really was off, Matt. But the visa deck was just on the other side of the glass window in the reception hall. You shouldn't have been able to get there right away.
Objection!
Mr. Wright, have you investigated nothing? The only way to the visa deck is to go to the hole and take the lift. No matter how much one hurries, it would take at least 10 minutes. Alright. Well, that's unhelpful. Thorn had to have gotten there before the murder. My claim would stand. You have any ideas for me, Maya? It's definitely easier to prove that someone did go to the hole than not. I mean, you can't leave anything if you don't go someplace, right? Can't leave anything. Wait a minute. I think Maya's onto something here. The lack of a certain something actually proves that Soren didn't go to the hold. What's the matter? Are you stumped already? No, I'm far from stumped, Mr. Edgeworth. I know for a fact that... Sorry, yeah, I know for a fact that Mr. Sprocket didn't go to the hold. You and your paper thin bluffs. Mr. Sprocket's blood stain in the lip proves he went for the hold. What possible proof could you have that he did not, in fact, go through there? You want proof? You got it. You can do this, Phoenix. It's gotta be proof that Soren didn't go for the hold. What was it right? This proves that Mr. Sprocket didn't go for the hold. Oh, the key, right.
Take that!
Oh. So maybe this isn't it. Maybe not. Definitely not! Definitely not, it is. Alright, come on, Phoenix. Get a hold of yourself and try again.
Take that!
bit. Okay, I think that's fair.
Take that!
Oh, I was on fire yesterday. I'm not. Hmm. Let's try the picture.
Take that!
It's not the picture.
Take that!
Okay, it wasn't a statement. I said I was on fire yesterday. I bet on the day before. And now we're not.
Take that!
Oh. It was right there and I didn't think about it. The one evidence that had the most meaning and I opted to ignore it.
Take that!
As anyone can see from the whole entry record, there's absolutely no mention of sword sprocket entering the hole. The defense asserts that Mr. Sprocket used a different route to get to the visa deck. You can assert all you want, Mr. Wright. But can you actually prove another route assists? Can you prove it or assist to the visa deck, you ask? You can't. I can prove it. Even if it's just a bluff, I have to present something. Anything that could prove the assistance of a faster route than the visa deck. Oh, no, Mr. Wright! So how Mr. Sprocket got to the visa deck? Mr. Sprocket made his step through here.
Take that!
To save his pride from danger, Mr. Sprocket opened the escape hatch and made his way along the outside wall to the visa deck. Is that right, Mr. Sprocket? That would certainly be a much faster route to the visa deck.
Objection!
I'm disappointed, Mr. Wright. Is that really the best you could muster? That escape hatch is not meant to be used to get from the reception hall to the visa deck. One slip, and that's all it will take for Mr. Sprocket to plunge to his death. I have to agree. The defense's claim is really stretching it.
Hold it!
I understand how it sounds, Your Honor. But at this point, it's too early to definitely say it. That he didn't go that way. That's what you're going with then, I take it? Of course, Your Honor. This is real life, Mr. Wright. Not some cinematic dribble or comic book. Do you have some sort of logical explanation to share that would convince us of your claim? I do. Are you sure, Nick? Kind of. I have nothing. So I'll just have to wing it somehow. Oh, wait, you. On what do you base your fear? That Mr. Sprocket made his way along the outside? Yeah, my theory being that he was able to go along the outside wall despite the dangers based on power of love. To save his bride, the bride he loves, the groom risks the slack to rush to his side. Mr. Sprocket was able to make it to the visa deck despite the danger because of the power of love. The power of love! That love is a source of strength that can help one overcome any obstacle. I become relate thanks to my own long happy marriage. Wow, he actually seems to be buying it.
Objection!
The power of love, you say? That kind of a logical argument is hardly viable in a court of law. Can you agree, Your Honor? I'm right now, Mr. Edgeworth. You should never underestimate the power of love. You'll understand one day when you get married. Which I won't. Exactly what is so wrong with wishing to remain unwed? We just sent him off, Your Honor. Never mind all this unscientific nonsense. My worm is right that at the time of the crime, there was a huge propeller turning at full speed between the hatch and the visa deck. Even if a person were to go outside through the hatch, they would be blown away in an instant. Ah! Where does your power of love get you now, Mr. Wright? A huge thing preparing, you say? In that case, I have to admit it does seem impossible. Ark, should have known. Nick, you can't make that kind of face in front of your client. The worst of times are when lawyers have to force their biggest smiles. Right? Right. I feel like I just saw Mia. Yeah, looking at me through Maya's eyes. Only time Mia gets mentioned, too. What's wrong, Nick? Why are you gawping at me like a giant sunfish? Thank you, Maya. You just helped me remember something really important. There it is! There's that fearless smile I was looking for. Now give us a mind-blowing theory, just like you always do. I have to turn my thinking around. Instead of wondering how someone could have moved past that huge propeller, I have to think about what would have made it possible for him to do so. Your Honor, Mr. Wright only makes that ridiculous face when his back is pressed against the wall. Therefore, please do hurry and give your ruling before—
Hold it!
Mr. Edgeworth? It's still far too early to discount my theory. What are you talking about? The airship's large spinning propellers have already shredded it to pieces. But if you think a little more outside the box, I'm sure we can find a way he could have made it. Stop trying to solve Mr. Wright, and show us how it could even be remotely possible, if at all. What's a great Mr. Edgeworth? Very well, Your Honor. There must have been a way. Some way that someone could have moved along the wall in spite of the propeller. Oh, no then, Mr. Wright! What specifically would have made it possible? This is how it would have been possible for Mr. Sprocket to get to the pizza deck. Why don't let Mr. Sprocket to go along the outside of the wall in spite of the propellers? It's the location of the flying chapel at the time of the crime. Location of the flying chapel? But wasn't it flying high in the sky? No, Your Honor. I'm afraid it wasn't. What? And where was it? At the time of the murder, the airship wasn't flying through the sky, but more into the ground. What? And if the airship wasn't flying, then that means the propellers weren't turning. In which case, Mr. Sprocket could have gotten to the visa deck along the outside wall. Is that right, Mr. Sprocket? No. I don't remember. Oh, he stopped himself with his pencil. That's gonna leave a mark.
Objection!
Even if the propellers weren't turning, it would have been far too risky to go that way. Ah, but Mr. Edgeworth, you're forgetting about the power of love. Yes, the amazing power of love! Not this again! Very well, for the sake of argument, let's assume this so-called power of love made it possible for Mr. Sprocket to move alongside the outside wall of the ship. Along the outside wall of the ship. Can you prove that the airship was tied to the ground as you claim, Mr. Wright? Oh, well, I don't have any evidence that proves where the airship was at the time. You can prove it, can't you? Yeah. Can you think of anything we can use to prove it? I'd say I can. Oh, wait! Didn't somebody say there's someone outside the window at the time of the crime? I think I remember someone saying as much. I have a piece of evidence that shows what was outside the airship. Well, what are you waiting for? This piece of evidence shows what was outside the airship at the time of the crime. Oh, then right matters way.
Take that!
This piece of evidence shows what was outside the ship at the time of the murder. What kind of lousy drawing is that? It's a drawing made by Larry Butts. And what can you prove with that poor attempt at artistry, sorry. Larry made this drawing before he switched the lanterns. So it must have been right around when the murder was being committed. Now, if I could direct the court's attention here. Is that a pterodactyl? Does that mean the airship actually went back into down to the Kratos era period?
Objection!
We've already proven that time travel is nothing more than a gimmick, did we not? We did, and I have no intention of bringing up that argument again. But this drawing shows us an important piece of information. It shows that the airship was actually moored to the ground. And what makes you so sure? That's easy. All you have to do is consider who made this drawing. Larry. That's right, it was Mr. Butts. And we both know what he's like. He must have seen something else and mistaken it for a pterodactyl. I can't argue with you there. Hold it. Hey! Wait just one doggone second here. What kind of moron do you guys take me for? I saw with my own eyes a pterodactyl for right foot by the window, I tell you. I have sharp eyes of an artist. Don't you believe me? No. Heck. Nope. Friends. And you guys are. What about the judge? Do you believe me, right, Your Honor? I'm sorry, but I'm afraid you need to leave this courtroom. If you would. Come on, buddy. Let's go. Why doesn't anybody believe me? Don't take it personally, Larry. I know you're just being, well, you. No, then, you were saying that what Mr. Butts really saw bears some relation to what was outside the airship at the time of the murder? Yes, Your Honor. At least I think it does. What this pterodactyl really is will prove the airship was anchored to the mooring deck. And it better. Anyway, if it doesn't, my whole argument is a bust. If you're that confident about it, then please go ahead and tell us what it really was. Yes, Your Honor. Hey, Phoenix, what could that pterodactyl have actually been? Right, wasn't this like yeeted?
Take that!
Please take a good look at the sign. At the sign? It appears to have been broken and then repaired. But what does the sign have to do with the pterodactyl? Please focus on this part of the sign. The part that broke off and got reattached. What about it? How about we turn it like this? Oh, that shape! It's the pterodactyl in the drawing! Well, what Mr. Butts actually saw was this chunk as it was being blown through the urbane wind. What? On the day of the murder, there was some heavy winds in the area of the mooring deck. But it's hard to imagine that this sign would make it up as high as an airship would fly. That means the flying channel must have been anchored to the mooring deck at that night. Is that right, Mr. Sprocket?
Objection!
That's more than enough of this power of love nonsense, you pop culture junkie. Present all the proof you want, but your argument is based far too much in conjecture. Why don't we return to reality now? What do you mean, too much conjecture? Even if the airship wasn't flying, that alone doesn't prove the witness went along the wall. No, even now, it's no more than a possibility. Then how do you propose Mr. Sprocket got to the feces deck, Mr. Edgeworth? I noticed something as I went over the evidence. Please take a look at this whole entry record. What about it? I don't see Mr. Sprocket's listed on here anywhere. Don't you remember? In yesterday's session, we had a very similar kind of argument. Did we? Honestly, Mr. Wright, are you going senile already? We talked about Larry Butch using the defendant's key card to enter the hold. Oh, we did talk about that, didn't we? In other words, even if a person's name isn't on the entry record, it's still possible for that person to have entered by using someone else's card. Ah! Mr. Sprocket, you entered the hold with Mr. Nicholas, didn't you? I did. What? Why didn't you tell us that in the first place? Okay. Pierce is indispensable. I didn't want to mention him unnecessarily by risking having him wrongly accused. I couldn't do without him. Mr. Sprocket! I asked you to testify in greater detail about your movements, not none. The truth. The truth is, I went to the feces deck with Pierce. That's why I made this doesn't appear in the whole entry record. I was badly injured from being stabbed, but I was frantic. By the time we reached the scene, it was alright. It was all over. Well, this doesn't help me one bit. Mr. Rocket, you concealed information from us time and time again. Who do you think you are, treating this court of law with such irrelevance? Yeah, that being said, I do appreciate the testimony you give just now. Thanks to you, we now know why your name doesn't appear on the entry record. Now, there are no more inconsistencies in the witness' testimony. That's Mr. Etcher for you. He never leaves a loose end dangling. You okay, Nick? I wouldn't exactly call this situation okay. Somehow I have to coax the information we need for an opening out of him. If I ever If I even can, that is. Alright. Secrets of arrival.
Hold it!
Field. Alright. Oh, sorry. You didn't mention this because you didn't want Mr. Nicolay to fall under suspicion? Is that because he has something to hide? I just want the police to take up his time with other questioning, that's all. Neither the company nor the household would function smoothly without him. I see. Wow, that sounds like Pierce is absolutely indispensable to the sprockets. Anyway, getting back to your statement. Where did you meet up with Mr. Nicolay? We met up on my way to the visa deck. Yeah, I think Pierce and some of my relatives were on another floor. But Pierce heard the commotion and came running to my aid. Okay. So he could hear the pandemonium from all the way from their floor? Is it right? Would you like the current statement to be added to the current statement added to the witness testimony? Let's have it on it. Yes, please, Your Honor. Very well. Here's heard the commotion and he came running.
Hold it!
Okay. Did Mr. Nicolay come alone? Did he come alone? Okay. I believe so, but... Sorry, I believe some of his subordinates were with him, but... I don't remember exactly how many. Okay. He said there were others, but seeing how they pulled that second reception off, I can't completely trust anything he has to say either. I see, so you, Mr. Nicolay, and a few others headed to the pizza deck, is that right? That's right.
Hold it!
Your name doesn't appear on the whole entry record? Because you entered with Mr. Nicolay using his keycard? That's right. I guess the whole entry record doesn't matter as much as we thought. The Knight of Swords saying he was with Pierce and a few others. It's pretty tough to refute that statement. What's the matter, Mr. Wright? Cat got your tongue. Did you finally realize there's no point in continuing this trial any longer? Of course not! Wipe that smoke leak off your face. Mr. Sprocket, please continue with your testimony.
Hold it!
Speaking of your injuries, how are you doing now? The knife wound is deep and continues to throb with pain. Fortunately, my internal organs are spared. But one remove could have spelled the end for me there. And so, I've seen you up and about all over the place since the incident. I'm only following my doctor's orders to perform some daily night exercises. Right! Would you like Mr. Sprocket to statement to be about his condition in add to his testimony? Not that it appears especially relevant to me. They have him out here. Yes, Your Honor. I would like to have that to his testimony. I see. Very well. The knife wound is deep. It's quite deep, dark, and continues to throb with pain.
Hold it!
Your injuries were really that deep? Luckily, it missed my internal organs. Otherwise, it would have been... I wouldn't be alive right now. According to his doctor, his injuries will take about 3 weeks to heal. There's no way someone with that kind of injury could have gone along the outside wall. He might have been able... Well, Sorry, with a burst of adrenaline brought on by the peon. Adrenaline, is that your answer for everything? In the court of law, the only thing that matters is evidence, not rampant speculation. At least admit it was that maybe grandpa's speculation. May I continue? Yes, of course.
Hold it!
So you still insist that you reached the feces act after the murder occurred? Is that correct? Yes, that's right. Elaine must have killed him. There's no other explanation. I guess whether Pierce was with Soren or not doesn't change the outcome. I guess none. In fact, more witnesses actually make it worse for us. So another cover-up, huh? That Soren has too many secrets. I bet he's still holding other things, tiny other things too. That's definitely a possibility. But in a situation like this, what we have to do is go back to the basics. You mean go over the testimony and check for any lies and inconsistencies? You got it. Alright, Nick, let's go for it. Alright, 2 new statements to pop. Let's try this. With...
Objection!
Looks like I was right. Mr. Sprocket, you just said your injury is a knife wound, did you not? Oh yeah, I did mention it. That's not why. But the weapon you were stabbed with was this candelabra. I know. A fact I know you're quite aware of. Very well. This is what I heard directly from Master Soren himself. As you summarize, Master Soren was stabbed by Bloomsbury on the day of the murder. It happened after the first wedding reception. The happy couple were in the reception hall when suddenly, Bloomsbury appeared. He attacked Miss Elaine and tried to take her away. Master Soren went to stop him and found himself in a struggle with Bloomsbury. That is when Master Soren was stabbed with the candelabra, he said.
Objection!
It must have been a simple memory slip that made him misspeak. It happens to everyone. It has nothing to do with the case. You must be pretty desperate to point out something so imminent. I have to agree, Mr. Wright. You hardly need to make such a big deal over such a small mistake. But I contend that it's an important inconsistency. Guys, I couldn't find anything else. This is the only thing I have to go after. And I say it's not important. Now, let's not waste any more time on this matter. I agree. Everybody has a little memory lapse every now and again. But Your Honor, please let me explain. Can you? Can you really explain to this court what makes this slip so important? Yes, I can, Your Honor. After all, the Soren himself who told Pierce that he had been stabbed at a candelabra. This is more than a simple memory slip. There has to be some kind of reason for it. Well, Mr. Wright, please explain why the witness slip at the tongue is so important. The point to focus on here is why the witness would mistake the weapon and use to stop him. Be careful, Phoenix. This could very well change the course of the trial. And see, why did the witness make that mistake, Mr. Wright? Mr. Sprocket identified the wrong weapon and used against him because... Oh, it's not that. Oh, cop. The guy... But the obvious should have been the obvious one. Right. I mean, the other two were possible as well. He doesn't remember the incident, let alone the weapon used against him. Not only that, well, I believe Mr. Sprocket has some sort of memory disorder. Therefore, the defendant contend that Mr. Sprocket's testimony thus far is invalid.
Objection!
Just because you can't find a flaw in his testimony, you want to throw it all out? Your baseless claim is nothing but pure slander of the witness's character. Mr. Edgeworth is correct, Mr. Wright. Can you explain your grounds for making this claim? Of course, Your Honor. Think of what Soren has said and how he behaves. That's where I'll find a clue. And well, let's hear your argument then. My grounds for the claiming that Mr. Sprocket has a memory disorder is... Notebook. The notebook he always has with him. I saw daily events and information about the people around him recorded in it. Like diagrams? No, Your Honor. It's much too detailed to be an ordinary diary. It's more on the order of a database, actually. A database, you're saying? That's right. For some reason, Mr. Sprocket is apparently unable to retain memories. That's why he writes every little detail of his life down in his notebook.
Objection!
How could you possibly know that for sure? He might just be an extremely compulsive person. I thought so too myself. First. To be honest, he accidentally got a stain on that notebook yesterday. You mean you got a stain on it? Hey, you're the one who tried to grab it out of my...
Objection!
Never mind whose fault it was, just get to the point already. Right, sorry. Mr. Sprocket. The page Miss Faye got on a stain yesterday. That's the page with the details of your stopping on it, what isn't it? No, I only write in this notebook because I'm very compulsive. Nah, I dropped the subject already. Sorry, but I'm not convinced. I know it's an odd fact about your notebook, Mr. Sprocket. On the earlier pages, you used it to write down invention ideas. But after a certain date, you started writing down a lot more, and in much more detail. I believe your memory disorder stems from what happened on that date. Something so monumental, it caused a memory disorder, Mr. Ryan? You don't know what you're talking about. Sorry, but I do know what I'm talking about. And this is the proof. This is the thing that caused Mr. Sprocket's memory disorder. I was going to be cautious.
Take that!
You were involved in this car accident too, weren't you, Mr. Sprocket? And the shock of losing your beloved older sister. Here's what caused you to develop your memory disorder. Is this true, Mr. Sprocket? Well, is it? Yeah. Mr. Sprocket. It's true. That accident did something to my mind. What? No. Ever since that day, every time I go to sleep, I lose my memories. When I wake up, the most recent thing I can remember is the day I lost my sister. It's as if I'm constantly going back in time. What? That's truly tragic. An inconsolable time traveler who goes back in time whenever he goes to sleep. Besides, time travelers do assist, you know. But you wouldn't understand. That's what Soren meant. He was talking about himself. The reaction of the people around me each time I awoke made me aware of my condition. That's when I decided to write everything down in my notebook, so I can move forward. So the only memories you have since that day are the ones written in that notebook? That's right. This is the page But you're stopping Gaston. You couldn't read from it, could you? There's just one more thing I'd like you to clarify for me, Mr. Sprocket. Exactly what are your feelings towards the victim? Mr. Sprocket's feelings towards Thomas Gloomsbury? That's right, Your Honor. The witness said that every time he wakes up from sleep, his mind goes back to the day his sister died. Is that right? You can't mean... Mr. Sprocket! Your pent-up feelings of anger and resentment towards Mr. Gloomsbury for the accident were renewed each and every time you woke, were they not? But you couldn't take it anymore, so you turned to murder, isn't that right? What? Mr. Wright, are you saying that the witness murdered Mr. Gloomsbury? For revenge? Well, Mr. Sprocket? Well then... Miss what? Your Honor, I did it. I killed Mr. Gloomsbury. No! What? Miss what? What are you trying to do? Don't tell me you're still thinking of going that route. Soren says you can't be found guilty. Take me instead. Eileen, please, try to get a hold of yourself. I guess you really meant it. My Soren didn't do anything wrong. I'm the one who should be convicted. You understand that you're confessing your guilt? No. That witch is a minute here. Hold it. Elaine, why would you cover for me? After I testified that I thought you must have killed him. I'll admit, I couldn't believe my ears at first. But all I want is for you to be happy. Your happiness is my happiness, Soren. Without my notebook, I'd even forget those feelings of yours by tomorrow. Knowing that, do you still feel this way? You loved me all this time. The same way you did before the accident. That's how I know that you're the same person I've always loved. Those order can change that. Elaine. Your Honor, there are two things I'd like to correct. Two corrections? What are they? First of all, I want to withdraw one of my statements. That's right. Dimo was killed by Elaine. With memories to rely on, I took the police completely at their word. Can't be serious! That means Soren never really doubted Elaine in the first place, did he, Nick? Elaine really does love Soren with all her heart. But in order to save her, I still have to go after Soren. I hope you can forgive me, Elaine. What is your other correction, Mr. Sprocket? The truth is, I never felt anger or resentment towards Dumas about my sister. What? Why not? That's because the one who caused the car accident was me. What? Order in the court! Take today, Mr. Sprocket! I'm the one who killed my sister. To protect my career and my future, my father must take the blame. In exchange for money and the position of lead servant, there was one driving. So you see, Duma must have held a grudge against me, not the other way around. And he must have attacked Elaine to get his revenge on me. Are you sure about all of this, Mr. Sprocket? Very sure. It's all been written down in detail in my notebook. The notebook is important evidence supplied in background to this case. I must insist you submit this evidence. Got back to the court. Okay, Soren had been... Oh, okay. The lawyer said I had turned to murder, but that is not true. However, it is true that my older sister and Newman are both dead because of me and my negligence. I just glanced through Mr. Sprocket's notebook. I wasn't able to read the part about when he was stabbed due to the Mustang. But what's written here about his sister's car isn't exactly as he stated. Your Honor, as long as it matches what's written in that notebook, can we still take the witness's testimony as valid, in spite of his memory disorder? Yes, I believe we can. I understand now. I understand that the witness's memory is in disarray. But what if Mr. Sprocket himself wrote in this notebook? But if what Mr. Sprocket wrote in this notebook is true, then that means by the time Mr. Sprocket's party reached the scene, the victim had already been killed. Swerve's right. I'm still in the same bind as before. Should I really simply slap the contents of the notebook as a substitute for Soren's memory? That's right. What do you think? Will you accept Mr. Sprocket's notebook as an official representation of his memories? Will I accept Mr. Sprocket's notebook as an official memories? Let's say yes and see where we go. Your Honor, I can accept Mr. Sprocket's notebook as... Nick, are you sure we're done? Not really. I mean, I already don't like where this is going. Your Honor, the defense requests a timeout. There is no timeouts in the court of law. Give me your answer and no dallying. This is an important point. You need to be careful on how I answer. Wait a minute, Your Honor. The defense requests a chance to examine the notebook to see if it's trustworthy. Very well. Be quick about it. Thank you, Your Honor. Alright, so should we examine it? Well, we should look at it from all different angles if we see if anything suspicious. If there's anything suspicious. There's no point. I don't know what's inside. I'll have to open it. With your permission, Soren, here I go. Yikes. Oh, it's just a page my got all stained. Guess it's not going to be very helpful at this moment. I'll keep going. This is the last page where it's written. Something about this page doesn't sit right with me. I better take a closer look. Huh? A page has been torn out. And it looks like there was something written on it. It looks like a page has been torn out here. Mr. Sprocket, do you know what was written on it? Oh, Dad. I often tear out a page when I write somebody a note. I probably wrote something down for somebody, and it tore it and give it to him. Oh yeah. That solves that then.
Objection!
Wait a minute. We kind of know the possibility that something important was written on that page. But now the page has been torn out. How can we determine what was written there? Well, let's see. To find out what was written in the notebook, we should... Let's try hold up a flag. Nope. Fingerprints. Okay. If we use fingerprint printer on the notebook, we might be able to see what was written. Fingerprint printer? How would that help us to find out what was written there? Well, if the right indentation on a blank page left behind, fingerprint printer could make those small indentions visible to the naked eye. It's indentions. Oh, stop. Fingerprint powder would only sully the notebook further. That's right! If you use the powder and still don't find anything, then you must accept the notebook as representation of the witness's memory. Alright, Your Honor. I understand. Don't find anything. It's all over anyway. Better don't fill me eye. I'll use this fingerprint. I will not use fingerprinter on the blank page. I'll to find out if you can see what was written on the torn out page. So I'll apply some. First, I'll apply some fingerprint powder on these pages. When it does enough powder, I'll blow. I'll blow the excess powder away. So if something should appear, I should switch down lights. Okay, my point. It's just. Alright. It says, I struck and killed Dumas. This is huge! I struck and killed Dumas. That's what was written on the torn out page. What? It can't be! I don't believe it. There has to be some kind of mistake. Sword would never. He'd never. Miss One! Bailiff, please get the defendant to the infirmary at once. Apparently, the defendant got too worked up. She's resting in the infirmary as we speak. Am I playing today, Mr. Ryan? Yes, Your Honor. The notebooks. Sorry, this notebook is all Mr. Sprocket has to remember things by. With the critical page torn out, not even Mr. Sprocket himself knew the truth of what he'd done. I'm the one who killed Dumas, so it wasn't Lillian? Thank goodness. Mr. Sprocket, does this mean you were at the crime scene during the murder after all? I guess I must have been. One of the pages has been torn out. Update. Mr. Sprocket, do you really believe what's written in this notebook? Nobody touches this notebook but me. And when I sleep, it's under lock and key. I remember writing that I killed Dumas. I guess I must have. Well, now that we have a confession, I'm afraid I must surrender my verdict. Hold up. Yes, Your Honor. Please give Really Nye while Leon's asleep. I want the woman I love to be set free as soon as possible. Soren really does love Leon after all, doesn't he? Yeah. So this is how it ends? Is this how it really went down? Is there really no way for them both to be happy? I know we should consider anything written in the notebook to be the truth, but still. I myself wrote the crime in my notebook. No further proof is necessary. Soren himself wrote it in his notebook? Wait a minute. Very well. I will now get my verdict. Leon's about to be found not guilty, and Soren will be convicted of the crime instead. And yet, I'm really ready for the judge to give his ruling? No, not when there's still one more avenue left to explore. The writing on the page. The court finds the defendant, and I want.
Hold it!
Your Honor, there's still something that bothers me about that notebook. Oh, is there? What are you doing, Mr. Wright? All you have to do is keep quiet, and your client's a free woman. I know, but I think there might be more to this case than meets the eye. Not quite sure yet, but I think there still might be a way. A way for Elena Soren to be happy. What do you mean, more than meets the eye, Mr. Wright? I believe the question here, Your Honor, should be, why was the incriminating page torn out in the first place? Why, to destroy the evidence, I would imagine. By removing it from the notebook, it's the same. him as removing it from Mr. Sprocket's memory. Which means he wouldn't have been able to trick the police if he came under suspicion. No, if he wanted to cover up his tracks, he would have to remember that he had done it. Just what are you getting at with this line of inquiry, Mr. Wright? Yes, please explain. It's so we can all understand. Yes, Your Honor. The page was torn out of the notebook because... somebody else torn it out. The incriminating page was torn out by somebody else. What? Order! You claiming that third-party person interfered with the notebook? It's not all that surprising if you consider what happened up until now. After both the car accident and the murder of Dumas Gloomsbury, there was always a cover-up of not far behind. Hold it. But I had my notebook with me all the time, at all times. Did you? Because I remember you were in a panic yesterday because you couldn't find it. That's true. So who orchestrated this particular cover-up, Mr. Wright? If you think back over the course of the trial, it's pretty easy to guess. The one who may have tried to tamper with Soren's memory is... Here's Nicolay.
Take that!
The one who tampered with the notebook in order to manipulate Mr. Sprocket's memory is Pierce Nicolay. Pierce tried to tamper with my memory? Pierce was manipulating me? Case in point, the two receptions that were held to cover up the murder. It was Mr. Nicolay who directed the guests and orchestrated the entire scheme. No, it can't be. Which of my memories are mine? Which have been rewritten? When did he start rewriting my memories? Who wrote this, and this, and this, and this, and this, and this, and this? He flew! He literally flew into the sky! He's literally took off! What? He flew! He literally flew! Look, Nick! He's coming back down! Aw, that was short. My memories. Brilliant. Mr. Sprocket! Edith! Please get Mr. Sprocket to the infirmary! On the double! Mr. Sprocket has been taken to the infirmary! We don't have to worry about him running away, so let us resume where we left off. Your Honor, the defense would like to call Pierce Nicolay to the stand.
Objection!
We already know he carried out the cover-up to protect the company, Mr. Sprocket. What more do you want from him? This time it's different. The notebook, or rather, Mr. Sprocket's memories, have been tampered with. That means the only person who knows the whole truth is now Mr. Nicolay. Don't tell me. Are you actually trying to drum up a third suspect? In order to exonerate the defendant and her groom? I'm not drumming up anything, nor do I have grounds to accuse him of anything, yet. All I know is Mr. Nicolay is the only one who knows the truth! I think he's still hiding something we don't know about yet. No grounds yet, is it? Well, Mr. Edgeworth, does the prosecution consent then to calling the witness to the stand? It does, Your Honor. However, I would like a little time to talk with the witness before we do. Very well. We will break for a 20-minute recess. Oh! It's another two-part. Well, let's continue. Alright, September 23rd, District Court, Defendant Lobby number 3. Now we have to face Pierce on the stand. I'm not sure if I should be surprised or not. One thing's for sure, he wouldn't be an easy adversary. So, do you think Pierce did it? It's too early to say anything at this point. But I do think he's still hiding something. Nick! Why didn't you pin everything on Soren Loser back there? Looks like Larry still hasn't given up on the Leon. This Pierce guy is the real bad guy. And so am my Ellie. We'll live happily after together. Larry. That's not the kind of thing a decent human being says. Shame on you, Larry. Oh, I don't know. I know I have to give up my Ellie. Nick, promise you'll make her happy. She deserves a happily ever after. I'm sure Soren will make her happy once all of this is said and done. The child's out to pursue, Mr. Right? Alright, you ready, Maya? Yep, let's go. I'll be rooting for you, Nick. Okay, December 23rd, District Court, courtroom number 6. Alright. This court is now back in session. Witness, please take the stand. Please state your name and occupation. My name is Pierce Nickley. I am the Sprocket family butler. Let's get straight to the point, Mr. Nickley. Someone tore a page from Mr. Sprocket's notebook to manipulate his memories. And that person was you, wasn't it? That is correct. What about it? Oh, that was easy. Why did you do it? Why did you do it? Why did you tamper Mr. Sprocket's memories? His notebook, sorry. Please allow me to explain. It pains me to do this, but I will tell you the truth. Pains you? That is correct. Or my testimony will go against Master Soren's wishes. Soren's wishes? What is he talking about? Why I tore the page. I rushed to the visa deck, but the crime had already been committed. I saw Miss Elaine and Gloomsbury collapse and Mr. Soren writing in his notebook. Mr. Soren said to me, I'll take the blame for the murder, so please take care of Elaine. But I went against his order. I tore the page of out of his notebook and hid the body. Wait a second. What Mr. Sprocket was writing in his notebook at the time, could it be? It was meant to be a confession, an admission he killed Queensberry himself? He wrote that message to take the blame for Miss Wan? That was correct. Master Soren did hit Bloomsbury with the timekeeper to save Miss Elaine. And Mr. Sprocket was the culprit after all. However, that blow did not kill Gloomsbury. That makes sense. Mr. Sprocket's injuries wouldn't allow him to put much force into it. Enraged, Gloomsbury tried to attack Master Sword, who was already seriously injured. But in the nick of time, Miss Ling hit Miss Gloomsbury from behind and faced him off, it would seem. So the one who inflicted the fatal blow was the defendant? Yes, that is correct. Master Sword tried to take all the blame onto himself. No way! It's pretty bad, Nick. Okay. Very bad is an understatement. Well, Mr. Wright. It seems your decision to call for Mr. Nickley has backfired. For the true culprit behind this case remains the defendant, Elaine 1. Could this get any worse? Pierce was involved in this cover-up plot. In the cover-up plot, sorry. I bet he still has something to hide. Or some. Okay.
Hold it!
Wait a minute. I thought you went to the VZAC with Mr. Sprocket. Actually, that is not true. What? What do you mean? I found out afterward, but Master Soren went to the VZAC alone. He went out to the escape hatch in the reception hall and went along the outside wall. What? You can't be serious. You mean Mr. Wright's Alapi guess was actually correct? What's with the Alapi? I suppose truth really is stranger than fiction. Well, Mr. Nickley, when you got to the scene, you saw Mr. Gloomsbury, Miss Watt, and Mr. Sprocket. Is that right? That is exactly right.
Hold it!
So when you and your group arrived at the feast deck, the murder had already been committed? That is correct. Gloomsbury had already been struck. Miss Lane had lost consciousness, probably from the shock of the incident. And how did Mr. Sprocket appear? He is bleeding from the stab wound he received from Gloomsbury. By the conscience, he was writing something in his notebook. So serious for a person Elian saw was really Soren then.
Hold it!
So Mr. Sprocket wrote a confession in order to take the blame for Miss Watt? Yes. That notebook is the only form of memory Master Soren has. Do you understand what his actions meant? What his actions meant, I trust? What do you mean? What does it mean, Nick? Soren, everything in that notebook is true. Soren tried to take the blame by altering his own memory to make himself think he did it? No! Master Soren truly loved Miss Lane. It must have been love that made him do that. Do not.
Hold it!
Mr. Nickley, could you please tell the court about this in more detail? That, you say? Which part do you mean, Mr. Wright? Could you be more specific? Oh, alright. What do I want to know about details? Please tell me more about the hiding of the body. Very well. After saying he would take the blame, Master Soren passed out. That's when I hit the body. I quickly took the lift down to the hold. That's where I hit Gloomsbury's still warm body in the spare peg bull lantern. So it was you who hit the body, not the defendant? Hold on. Alright. To think Mr. Butts would move the lantern containing the body to the reception hall. Well, I did not see that coming. I don't blame you. Not even Larry could predict what Larry will do next. We actually take another look at the lantern's evidence. That's right! With the statement. You like that statement to be added to his witness testimony? Yes, please. Very well. Please add that statement to your testimony, Mr. Nickley. In the hold, I hit the still warm body in the spare pickpole lantern. Let's press first, and then we'll... Why did you hide the body in the lantern? As I told you yesterday, it was to make it, and so the murder never happened. Thanks to Mr. Butts, things did not turn out as planned. So holding a second winning reception wasn't Mr. Sprocket's idea? George, wasn't it? It was all for Master Soren's sake and Sprocket Avaton. And Avaton, sorry. If I am accused of a crime for trying to cover up the incident, I shall accept it willingly. He really doesn't seem to even care about himself. He's talking about the cover-up after the incident, huh? Right. And that's information only somebody who was actually involved could have known. So it might be a really important piece of testimony. I think so too. I really have to tread carefully here.
Objection!
Alright. Could it be? Is that what happened? What if what I'm thinking is true? And maybe I can prove neither Liam nor Soren did the deed. Mr. Niggly, you said that the body was still warm when you hit it, correct? Then what if Mr. Gloomsbury was still alive when you went in to put his body inside the lantern? What? What? That's preposterous. Actually, this shows that the victim might have still been alive while inside the lantern. I'm afraid you have to point out which part you're talking about, Mr. Right? This part here shows that the victim might still been alive inside the lantern.
Take that!
As you see, the back end of the lantern is a door. And there's blood here on the wheel and handle.
Objection!
That's blood stain might have gotten there when the witness put the body inside the lantern. It, in no way, shows that the victim drew his last breath while he was within the lantern. I disagree, Mr. Edgeworth. You see, in putting this lantern back together, the police inferably placed the inside handle on the outside, and vice versa. In other words, the wheel handles got swapped. Oh my! So they got swapped? Yes, they got swapped. What? That's ridiculous! Not at all, if you compare the other meal-pickable lantern in the reception hall. It's quite obvious the wheel handles were attached backwards. The detective in charge of the restoration will see me in my office later. Sorry, Emma. Good luck. In that case, what does the bloodstain on the wheel handle mean? The bloodstain didn't get there by chance. When the victim was put inside the lantern, he was only unconscious, not dead. When he regained consciousness, he probably tried to get out of the lantern to grasp the inner wheel handle, and that's when the blood got on. This proves that the victim was still alive when he was inside the lantern. At the time, I was completely convinced Gloomsbury was dead. Had I checked more carefully, he might have survived. Unfortunately, to be sure, not significant enough to change this trial's outcome. Again, I disagree, Mr. Edgeworth. It actually has a very significant impact on this case. The victim was struck by the defendant and died from his injuries sometime later. There's nothing more to it.
Objection!
That's where you're wrong. Let's take another look at Mr. Gloomsbury's autopsy report, shall we? Please focus your description on his injuries. It says, one contusion was found on the back of his head and one on the side. Yes, the one Mr. Sprocket gave him and the one Miss Watts delivered to finish him off. No, the defense would like to submit a different interpretation. A different interpretation? The victim was knocked unconscious by the first blow and was then put into the lantern. And what about the lethal blow by the defendant that the witness talked about? Yes, well, that didn't happen. After some time, when the victim regained consciousness and tried to get out the lantern, That's when he received the second blow to finish him off. Taking into account the fact that the victim was alive for a period after the first hit, and then he did not receive a second blow to the head, it does seem entirely possible. Yes, as long as the first blow didn't kill the victim instantly. Then there's a possibility that someone other than Mr. Sprocket or Miss Watt delivered the fatal blow.
Objection!
That's all you've got. Even if there's a time lag between the two blows, the prosecution's position doesn't change. What? What do you mean? It's elementary, Mr. Wright. After the reception, when the defendant was cleaning up the reception hall, the victim, who was supposed to be dead, suddenly came out of the lantern. The defendant grabbed the murder weapon, which was right there, and finished him off. That very sounds awfully familiar. Of course it does, Your Honor, because it's exactly what I proposed at the very start. The second blow was inflicted by the defendant after all. I see! It seems a tangle of mysteries have unraveled into a single thread.
Objection!
As long as there's a possibility that the fatal blow was delivered by a third person, then we must continue the deliberation. Give it up, Mr. Wright. Unless you have something to prove the presence of your precious third person. Okay, Nick, just relax. You can do this. Come on, I take some deep breaths. Good idea. Deep breaths. Deep breaths. Don't you feel better already? That's right. I should calm down. Get my focus back and go over everything again. And then hopefully, I'll be able to find something to prove there was a third person. Let's see. First, why did Gloomspire attack Elaine? Because he was tired of taking the blame for the accident? Something about that line of reasoning doesn't feel quite right to me. No? How come? Well, if it's just a personal vendetta, he had already stopped Soren. So why then was he so determined to go after Elaine? You're right. This whole thing feels too premeditated for a crime of passion. Gloomspire didn't seem to have a personal grudge against Elaine. Gloomspire didn't have a personal reason to attack Elaine then. We're taking it long enough, Mr. Wright. Now it's time for some action. What proof do you have that a third person was involved? So, alright, I'll show you. I'm not completely sure of what I'm doing yet. It looks like I'm out of time. This piece of evidence proves that the involvement of a third person.
Take that!
I get it now. Now I see why this note bothered me so much when I first saw it. It looked like a note outlining the murder plot. That note was apparently written by the victim. But why would he feel the need to write instructions himself like this? Your Honor, please take a look at this note. This is the victim's murder plan, right? It's definitely a murder plan, but what if Mr. Gloomspire didn't write this note himself? What? This is how you intend to conjure up your mysterious third party, Mr. Wright? Can you even prove that the note wasn't written by the victim? Yes. Yes, I can. Very well then. Please present your evidence, Mr. Wright. This evidence proves the victim didn't write the note. I feel it's the diary. Oh, right! No, it's candelabra.
Take that!
This is the weapon Mr. Gloomspire used to stab Mr. Sprocket. I was wondering what you pull out this time. Dare I ask what that could possibly have to do with the note? Mr. Gloomspire's prints were found on this candelabra, and prints were from his left hand. So that makes the victim left-handed, correct? Exactly, Your Honor. The police looked into it too and confirmed as much. Now take a look at the smudge writing in this note. Notice how this smudge only starts from the middle of each preceding line? Had this been written by a lefty, the writing would have been smudged from the far left end. This means that whoever wrote this note was definitely right-handed. In other words, somebody other than the victim wrote this note. What? Somebody other than Mr. Gloomsbury wrote it, then what does this note mean? Mr. Gloomsbury followed this note to the letter when he attacked Miss Watt. So clearly, this note isn't a murder plan written by Mr. Gloomsbury, but rather... These are instructions to kill Miss Watt issued by somebody else.
Objection!
If it wasn't the victim who wrote these so-called instructions, then who wrote it? Most of the people involved are right-handed, you know. He is correct. The majority of the family and their employees who were on the airship are indeed right-handed. I must say, that is a very rough and slip-and-shot conjecture you proposed. Hey man, I haven't figured out who wrote it just yet. Leave it to Mr. Edgeworth to go for the Jaguar. It's culprit who ordered Gloomsbury to attack Elaine. What could their motive have been? Doesn't seem very likely Elaine didn't incur anybody's wrath, right? Right. Too likely anyway. In that case, it has to be about Soren. If somebody were to hold a grudge against Soren, what would it be about? An accident, I guess. I could understand if Gloomsbury felt resentful about having to take the blame. But the one who lost the most to that accident was Soren's sister. And she lost her life after all. Soren suffered too, of course. He was crushed by losing somebody so precious to him. Somebody precious, huh? Soren's sister. Wait, there's one more person. There's someone else who must hold a grudge against Soren. Did you figure something out? I think so. I think this somebody else used Gloomsbury to try to get revenge against Soren. You say somebody tried to get revenge against Mr. Sprocket, Mr. Wright? The person who manipulated and used Mr. Gloomsbury was... The person who used Mr. Gloomsbury to try to get revenge on Mr. Sprocket and then finished Mr. Gloomsbury off to silence him was the man dear to Mr. Sprocket's older sister, Delina Sprocket's fiancée. Not that I'm positive, but it's certainly possible. His fiancée could have made Gloomsbury attack Aline to get his revenge on Soren. What? His fiancée? Sorry, her fiancée? Misread that. Order in the court! Order, I say! Yes, it does seem quite believable that Miss Selena Sprocket, his fiancée, would bear a grudge against Mr. Sprocket for his role in the accident. Exactly, Your Honor. Maybe her fiancé was trying to murder Miss Watt in order to make Mr. Sprocket experience the same pain he felt.
Objection!
Miss Sprocket's fiancé was a sergeant, if memory serves, but the only people who attended the reception were family and staff members. That may be, but then that just means that Miss Sprocket's fiancé must have been among those who attended. What? Really? Of course, otherwise, how could he have killed Gloomsbury? Oh, I see what you're doing. This is just another giant bluff, isn't it? Alright, I'll bite. Who exactly do you claim this fiancé to be? Yes, I would like to know as well. Are you sure you're going to be okay, Nick? Maybe. When it comes to suspicious people, there's only one person on my list. I need to find something that connects him to Selena. This will help us identify Miss Sprocket's fiancé. Oh! I see it.
Take that!
Please take a look at this photo, Your Honor. That photo? Notice Miss Sprocket's pocket watch. Haven't we seen it somewhere before? Yes, now that you mention it, I do feel as if I've seen it somewhere before. I believe we've all seen it. Right here in this very courtroom. Impossible! That's right. The pocket watch in this photo is the same pocket watch Mr. Nickley has on right now. What? This is clear proof of a strong connection between Pierce Nickley and Selena Sprocket. No. Miss Nickley, is this true? Mr. Nickley, you were the one engaged to Selena Sprocket. Sorry, you were once engaged to Selena Sprocket. Not pocket watch. You kept that as a memento of her, didn't you? Mr. Nickley, you planned to rob Mr. Sprocket of his loved one. Make him feel the same pain as you. Isn't that right? Mr. Sprocket managed to fight back and knocked Mr. Gloomsbury unconscious. You thought Mr. Gloomsbury was dead and you hid his body in the lantern. But then you noticed Mr. Gloomsbury regained consciousness. And so you finished him up to prevent your plan from being exposed. This is the defense's take on what really happened in this murder case. Is it right? Does this mean you wish to officially accuse this witness of the murder of Thomas Gloomsbury? Does the defense accuse Mr. Nickley of the murder? Yes. The defense indicts Pierce Nickley on the charge of murdering Thomas Gloomsbury. Oh mine! Mr. Nickley, would you care to respond? Man, this lawyer just yaps on and on and on. As you guess, this watch is a memento of Selena. It stopped working at the time of the accident, though. Then, really are... Yes, I was Selena's fiancé. And not just her fiancé, but the surgeon beside her deathbed.
Objection!
Mr. Nickley, why didn't you tell me any of this before? Shut it, you useless prosecutor. I thought you could be of use, but apparently this case was too much for you. What did you say? Your office hadn't stuck its nose up in this. I could have swept it under the rug. Not only did you interfere with the case, but you even let me fall under suspicion. That's because you kept trying to cover things up on the sly. By covering things up wasn't your only involvement. The only person who had a motive to use the victim to try to kill Miss Watt was you! Magnetic tumor. Magnetic tumor. There are magnetic tumors in this courtroom less than oozing with false charges. Where'd that come from? The tumors are one idiotic lawyer and one useless prosecutor. After the truth is revealed, I'll have the both of you indicted from the legal world. Deceased from the legal world. I'd like to see you try. The power of the Sparkle family, it'd be a cinch. I will now begin the operation. What in the world's happening to Mr. Nickley? Looks like he's finally showing his true colors. Nick, look what he did to that shoulder Mac. Put your yapping before I stir your chatty lips shut. Like he's a completely different person. Sure looks like it, huh? We can't let our guard down now. Mr. Nickley, it's finally time for you to testify. To the truth! Saints, we're entering the final act at last. Witness, your testimony, please. Right to remain silent. It actually was silence. Mr. Niggly, why didn't you say anything? Ah! He just took a picture of me. Or something. You want me to voluntarily testify? Hoping I would make a slip of the tongue. Not a very impressive plan or brain, I might add. Ow. What's uncalled for? You want to know something? You'll have to you'll ask the question. You ask the question, sorry. I will answer, but I have no intention of making any voluntary statements of my own. What's he trying to do, Nick? He's using the silent treatment as a strategy to avoid getting tripped up. Never a guy. No more lies, Mr. Lee. You will tell us nothing but the truth from now on. Arrgh! What did you think? What do you think you're doing? No one asked you to speak. Just keep quiet over there and play your frills. How dare you? Oh, this is a rather inconvenient situation. Well, please proceed, Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor. This says final correspondence. We're essentially at the end. Let's see. Yep.
Hold it!
He won't speak voluntarily. I guess I'll have to ask him something. What question should I ask him about? On the day of the incident, you were constantly surrounded by your subordinates. Is that right? Absolutely. I was in someone's line of sight at all times. After all, I was busy taking care of every detail of the event. Mr. Edgeworth, I believe your investigation backs up my claim. I've got statements that said a group of his subordinates worked with him in rotations. So he was always with someone. As the prosecution just said, I couldn't even get close to the lantern containing clone by myself, let alone kill him. You just didn't have a chance to get close to the victim alone, huh? Right, would you like that statement added to his testimony? Fine. Yes, Your Honor. I'd like that. Have that statement added to his testimony. Very well then. Very well. Oh, we actually have to ask all three just to get the testimony out. Isn't it true that when Mr. Gloomsbury regained consciousness inside the lantern, you murdered him in order to silence him? He was an excellent employee and very loyal to me. Gloomsbury was my right-hand man. I suffer the most from losing him. You really think I'd kill a guy like that? That would make sense only if you were innocent. Since your goal was revenge, you don't really have to care about something like that. But I am innocent, I tell you. Don't try to force your conjecture onto me. Here. Yes, without decisive evidence, I can't pursue this line of questioning any further. Right. Blood. This round, every little bit I track out of the house, right? Inspires right how on. I suffered the most from losing him. And everyone was. I was always in the company of others, but I didn't have the opportunity to murder Gloomsbury.
Hold it!
You've been nursing a grudge against Mr. Sprocket over the loss of your fiancée. Isn't that right? I'd be lying if I said I felt no resentment whatsoever. Master Soren didn't cause that accident on purpose. Master Soren himself has suffered greatly. You quit being a surgeon and found a way to get even closer to Mr. Sprocket. Wasn't that so you could carry out your revenge on him? Don't insult me. Supporting Master Soren and Sprocket Avalon is my life work. If is my penance for not being able to save Selena, this is how I honor her. You're the function as both the fiancé and the sergeant. Your statement, it breaks my heart. I never thought of exacting revenge on Master Soren. Never thought of it, huh? I think I should probably take that as with a pound of salt. Let's get this testimony too. I have to find an opening somehow. But now we have an actual testimony to work with. Let's break it down.
Hold it!
What did Mr. Gloomsberry think of Mr. Sprocket? After all, he was forced to take the blame for the accident. He must have been resentful. He got his position as the lead servant in exchange for taking the blame. It wasn't exactly a bad deal for him. He must have felt some sort of indignation. Who knows? Now that he's dead, we'll never know for sure. It's pointless to talk about it any further. Alright. Dead man tell no tales after all.
Hold it!
Now, so you've had no thoughts or revenges towards Mr. Sprocket whatsoever? Of course not. Cindy wouldn't have wanted that. I throw my own life away and live solely for the sake of the Sprocket family. That's how I show my love for her. Alrighty then. Well, one thing's for sure. Pierce really gets really emotional when it comes to Selena. I'm kidding. I'm not sure how he feels about Soren. His love for Selena is pretty obvious.
Hold it!
So, you were always in someone's line of sight? I was surrounded by family members and staff as we prepared for the reception. During the reception, I was stationed behind the sweetheart table to attend to the couple. When could I have possibly committed murder? I'm not buying it. If this is a true killer, then there must have been some time when he was out of everyone's sight. What do you think, Nick? Is there a chance for us here? Well, as long as we have some kind of testimony from him, there has to be. I'll just have to compare his testimony against the evidence on... Find an inconsistency, right? Exactly. This is it. I have to do this right. I think this is it. Alright. Let's try this.
Objection!
Nope. Your Honor, I have a feeling this piece of evidence contradicts the witness statement. A feeling defense! Yes, Your Honor. Or rather, I hope that it contradicts and indicates a contradiction. Right! Is there or isn't there a contradiction here? It looks like there is, but there really isn't one, is there? Are you asking me, right? Because what it really seems to me is you're asking me for penalty! Thanks for that, Death. Definitive answer, Your Honor. If a lawyer like you must write, even I feel bad for the defendant. Oh, you don't have to feel bad for her for long. I'm gonna write next time. You'll see. Think about this.
Objection!
Okay. Afternoon, night. Hope you're doing well. Alright. Okay, what's I read in the statement? That's probably the first thing in my mind. Alright, if we finish this up quick enough, like I said, we might set our Kingdom Hearts so we can do some small stuff. What's I read in this statement? Oh, what do you think you should do now, Maya? That was a statement that sounds awfully efficient to me, Nick. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Now it's just a matter of deciding which piece of evidence to present, right? Yeah, I'll take another look at the evidence and compare it to the stat statement then. I was... it's right statement, wrong evidence. think, what would be the evidence? I'm just gonna think about this one before I fire. Do we know? I know I've got the statement, so it's just the right. I need to think of the right evidence.
Objection!
Was it really the photo? Right, that was the second reception. We have Larry's, which is the first. Right. Mr. Glee's testified said he was always with someone at the time of the incident, and never had a moment alone to commit the crime. Yes, and the police investigation backs a statement up, doesn't it? But there was an opportunity, in fact. One and only one. The moment when Mr. Nikolai could have killed Mr. Gloomsbury without anyone noticing. What? And the one thing that made that moment possible is shown here in this photograph. Hold it. What's the... In terms of those people watching, I couldn't have possibly committed murder. Do not believe him, Your Honor. This lawyer is a magnificent tumor. He wants to inject this judicial body with
Objection!
virtual accusations. Objection. Mr. Lee, I would ask that you keep quiet at this time. You need to evaluate the defense's claim, and your yammering only serves to throw further suspicion your way. That's right. Let's see this one thing you mentioned. But be warned, this had better be. This better not. Sorry, this had better not be one of your offhanded claims. I have a feeling I'm gonna pick it up. Who do you think you're talking to, Mr. Ashworth? Everyone was right. Please point out for us the one thing that could make this moment of murder possible. The one moment when it was possible for Mr. Nigley to kill Mr. Gloomsbury. The one thing is this.
Take that!
Alright. The one thing that made the moment of the murder possible is this thick mood fog that engulfed the entire reception hall. It is under the cover of this fog and Mr. Nigley murdered the victim. One! Mr. Nigley was standing right next to the lantern that Mr. Gloomsbury was in. This was the only moment the murder could have been committed without being seen.
Objection!
I can accept that there was a moment when the witness was obscured from others by fog. But that doesn't prove Mr. Nigley killed the victim at that very moment. If you can't prove the crime was committed during the reception, the trial ends here. I was so caught up in finding a foothold that I forgot to think that far ahead. Well done, Mr. Ashworth. It's time to call this trial's time of death. But Mr. Wright, can you prove that the murder happened during the reception? Don't even bother. His claims is dead on arrival. Victor's been your grass, prosecutor. Quiet, witness. I have no interest in victory. All I care about is the truth. One that we can only arrive at further deliberation. Ashworth. Enough of this, Your Honor! This trial's over! No, Mr. Nigley! This is for me to decide. It's for me to decide, sorry. Is it right? Can you prove it? Can you prove that the murder was committed during the wedding reception? Why is there no verdict yet? The lawyers obviously out of answers. The prosecution, the judge, they're all infected. This magnificent stupidity is so advanced, not even the best surgeons can save them. In fact, not even a brain transplant could cure them. This course is effective of idiocy. It's a pandemic.
Objection!
Mr. Nigley, that's enough already. Finally ready to give up, are you? No, just the opposite is actually. I'll prove the murder was committed during the reception by you. You'll prove it? Can you read Mr. Right? Yes, I can, Your Honor. Yes, I don't know exactly how I'll do it just yet. But if I want to get to the truth Edgeworth was talking about, I'll just have to find a way. Everyone's right. Let's have your proof. Enough of this foolishness. He's just bluffing. Stop him from speaking, Your Honor. I will do nothing of the sort. You are just a district court judge. The power of the spark of me out. Enough of your foolishness, Mr. Nagini. This judicial body will not succumb to the influence of money or power. Now then, let's hear, Mr. Wright. Let's hear your truth. Hey, Phoenix, remember everything you've learned so far. You can do this. You can find the definitive evidence that will lead us to the truth. This is going to be the last time we'll do this, so enjoy. Hey, Phoenix, how can I prove the murder took place during the wedding reception? Pierce committed the murder during the reception. Then he had to have used... Okay, that's shut. Right. Hey, Schönbeck, if it's you must have hit the thing with that. No way, that can't be right. I can't really think my way through this. Okay, I just want to do that once though. The murder weapon. Okay, so he used the murder weapon. I'll try to be smart, but nope. Yes, the weapon that was used to strike the victim twice. According to the autopsy report, the victim was hit by the same object both times. So without a doubt, Pierce used to commit the murder. The weapon used to kill... I'm sorry, was... the timekeeper. The timekeeper was the murder weapon. Pierce struck the victim during that one single moment, and he must have used the timekeeper. I think it... wasn't it also used for something else during the reception? During the reception, the timekeeper was also used for... first startup of love. The timekeeper had been activated. That's right, the timekeeper had been activated during the reception. We activate the timekeeper again now. Find any trace evidence of the murder, that would be conclusive proof that the conspirator was killed during the reception. A special ceremony took place during the reception in question. What kind of a special ceremony? It was called the first startup of love. Apparently, the couple activated the timekeeper for the first time during it. Does that mean the timekeeper here in evidence isn't activated at the moment? And what would happen if we were to activate it? Why don't we see for ourselves? It would give us a chance to examine it. Am I right? We just might find some conclusive evidence. What? No, you can activate it. Nicholas, keep quiet, or I'll have you thrown out of court. Yeah. By the way, Mr. Wright, this is supposed to be a time machine, right? We aren't going to travel back in time to the Stone Age or anything, are we? I don't think we have to worry too much about that, Your Honor. I'm still a little nervous nonetheless, but the truth must be known. Very well, go ahead and start the timekeeper. You know Heim, Nick? I think so, maybe. The bride and groom each have a symbol of their love, and when they put them together, oh, how romantic it was. Let's see. I think the symbol of the groom's love must be the timekeeper itself. What symbol of the bride's love would fit together with the timekeeper? I know. Has to be it. Right. Are you ready to activate the time machine now? Yes, Your Honor. The symbol of the bride's love that stands for activating the timekeeper is the tent. Miss Watt's pendant is the symbol of the bride's love that's necessary for activating the time machine. What? Then stop. mean you can start up. You can start up with Miss White's pendant. What's pendant? I believe so, Your Honor. Very well. Please try it now, Mr. Wright. Okay, here goes. First, I have to figure out where the pendant goes. The outside casing is made of metal. I sure wouldn't want to get hit for something like that. This hole looks like it's a good spot. I'll try setting the pendant in here. Fits! This must be the right spot. Now I have to find a place to insert the key. Why does it seem... This hole in the middle of the pendant. Just be... Oh, right. I was overthinking that. Oh! Worked! The timekeeper has been activated. Now all I have to do is find proof that the crime was committed during the reception. It's right there! I see it! Hey, I think I found it. Conclusive evidence that the murder was committed during the wedding reception. Just as I suspected, there's evidence of the murder inside the timekeeper, Mr. Niggly. The timekeeper was only activated and opened during the wedding reception, right? Oh! Stop! So, that means... This is conclusive proof that the crime was committed during the reception. After you killed the victim under the cover of fog, you closed the timekeeper to hide the bloodstain, didn't you? It's obvious that it was in the state that when it was used on the victim. Okay. No, you're wrong. Eileen killed Queensberry. Wasn't me, I tell you.
Objection.
Give it up, Mr. Nickledy. How could the defendant, who was in the middle of pleasing her love, have possibly committed the murder with everyone watching her? It was, right, the family, yes. All the family members conspired together to kill him.
Objection.
There's no way you could talk your way out of this one, Mr. Nickledy. During the reception, during that one dreamlike moment, only one person could have used the timekeeper to beat the victim to death. And that one person was you! Pierce Nickledy! No, this isn't over yet. I won't give up. Oh no, I got the other right. Stupid thing. We must stop the winning night. Give me 4 times. 4 times, I say. Hey, where's everyone? Fine. I'll manage this alone. I'll do it all by myself. I can fix anything, repair anything. You have to get better. You have to live. You must. I would have been able to save her. If only I hadn't listened to her. If only I had treated her first. If only that sword hadn't been there. Ah! Selena! No. I kind of want to do a stupid one there, but I think for the signature, this one, like the third case in Spirit Justice, I think I'll not do it. Witness, are you finally ready to tell us the truth? It's just as the lawyer deduced. It was all a revenge scheme against Soren Sprocket. Do you have any idea how hard it is to lose someone you love right in front of you? Selena's condition was clearly more critical than Soren's, but in spite of that, she said, "Please help Soren." Miss Sprocket's last words. So that's what she really meant by those words. I was able to grant her wish, but at the price of her life. So you got a job with Sprocket Avalon and waited for your chance to get revenge. You got close to Mr. Gloomsbury and hatched this plot. Isn't this... sorry, is that right? Gloomsbury already bore a grudge against Soren. So when I tempted him with an even better position, he immediately took the bait. He was your accomplice, someone who shared the same goal as you. Why was it necessary for you to kill him? I didn't expect Soren to strike Gloomsbury out on the face of the deck. And I certainly never imagined he'd make his way there along the outside wall. Soren's love is the real deal after all. My plan had been compromised. So for the time being, I hid his body in the lantern. Tried to think of my next move. Then Mr. Gloomsbury came during the second wedding reception. Soon as I saw Gloomsbury, I instantly hit upon an idea. I pinned the blame on Gloomsbury's murder on Lillian. He tried to break up the couple by making the bride out to be a murderer. I despise it's despicable. Soren was getting the company on the wedding. Both things that were supposed to be Selena's. He took every happiness from her. Who's the despicable one here? You think what you did would make her happy? I know it wouldn't. You couldn't just stand by, watching Soren enjoy his happiness. I was going to have Soren taste the same pain I had, and then take over Sprocket Avalon. We take back from him all of the happiness that was rightfully Selena's. Time stopped for me that day, the day I lost her. Just like this pocket watch of hers. Hold it! Pierce! Miss One! I believe Selena would have said, "Leave this ill will behind. Your time is yours to live." It's too late for me. Time will never advance for me ever again. What can that be? See now, Selena. What I did, it's wrong. I see no further need to continue this trial. Bailiff, please take Miss Nickleby away. Here's Nickleby, another inconceivable time traveler. Another inconceivable time traveler. Sorry. You lived in time that stood still. Oh, then I must render my verdict regarding the defendant. Your Honor, before you give your ruling, would you please allow me a moment? Very well. Elaine, there's something I need to say to you. Yes, Soren? I put you through something truly horrible. This whole thing happened all because of me. I would understand if you wanted to call off our marriage. What? Oh, of course not. I never once thought that. You stay with me, you'll only face even more trying times in the future. What do you mean? The truth of this incident and the car accident before it. I'm going to tell the public everything. I expect the company's reputation will suffer, and I'll take a lot of criticism. But I feel I can only really start over once I get everything out in the open. Or in After all that's happened, I might not have the right to ask you this, but... Well, how should I say this? Maybe I'll just... A life with me probably won't be very easy, but... Will you marry me? Yes, of course! Your Honor, thank you for this time. Please continue your ruling. Very well, but first, I have one question. Do the two of you pledge your eternal love for each other to the gods of justice? Famous? I do, Your Honor. Wait, are we having a wedding in the courtroom? Huh. Right, courtrooms are very different from normal ones. I do. Does the prosecution or the defense have any objections? Well done, Your Honor. Nope, no objection here. The defense has no objections either, Your Honor. This court finds the defendant, Elaine what? That's not right. This court finds the defendant, Elaine Sprocket, not guilty! This court is adjourned! September 23rd, 11:36 a.m. to District Court, defend lobby number 3. Elaine, Soren, congratulations. It's alright, I can't thank you enough. If you hadn't exposed the jury, Soren and I wouldn't, well, we wouldn't... And now you can finally start your new life together, right? Oh, thank you! Mr. Wright, we'll be holding our real wedding ceremony in the near future. Would you do us the honor of coming to it? I want you to witness our fresh start. Of course! I would miss it for the world. And Lillian, this time, it'll finally be happily after, right? Oh yes! The two of you have persevered and overcome this trial together. Nah, no matter what obstacles will come your way, I'm sure you'll be able to handle them. And there's another thing I'm sure of too. This person will always be watching over the two of you. You know what it is, so we'll try to wrap up.
Take that!
This is Lena. Yes, I think you're right. And we promise to live to life to the fullest for Selena's sake too. Right, Soren? That's right. Well, we better be on our way. Oh, my love. Yes, my love. Wow, the old fresh old carry, huh? We gotta show off. We'll be seeing you. Goodbye for now. I'll be looking forward to that wedding. Hold on tight, Leon. Better believe I will. I'm never letting you go. There they go. You're not thinking of going to that wedding by yourself, are you, boss? You're taking us too, right? Oh boy, I bet there's gonna be all kinds of fancy food there. Athena, when did you get here? Just now. I would have been here to cheer your own guys on earlier, but you never give me a chance to slip away. You're going to be in even bigger trouble with her later. Speaking of the wedding, maybe I should ask Dan if you find Edgeworth. Mr. Edgeworth? Really? But he thought Liam was guilty all the way to the end. That may be true, but... don't even bother. His claims are dead on arrival. There's your gross, prosecutor. Quiet, witness. I have no interest in victory. All I care about is the truth. Oh, one that we can only arrive through further deliberation. If he hadn't stood up for us when he did, the trial probably would have ended there. Will Mr. Edgeworth give us that chance? Maybe. No, knowing him, I doubt he'd ever tell us. Sorry, you'd ever tell, even if I asked. Well, if that's how you feel about it, Nick, why not try to get him invited? Hey, Maya! Have you ever tried to catch the bouquet? What? No? Never have either. Fighting over a bouquet that's been tossed by the bride? Talk about a fierce competition! I'm totally stoked! I'm not sure it's really supposed to be that competitive. I'm a pretty good jumper, so I think I've got a chance. She's definitely missing the point of the whole thing. And Larry, how'd you manage to stay so quiet for so long? Shut up! Wishing the lady you fell in love with every happiness is what a real man does. I'm pretty sure that relationship was over before it even began, Larry. Arlo, if only I was 10 years younger, things would have gone differently. Hands off time! Why would you turn back for me? September 30th, 9:20 a.m. Spraka Park, room deck. Today is Alina Soren's third wedding ceremony reception. I heard the bride and groom insisted it be on the Flying Chapel again. In the end, they were nice enough to invite me and Maya. And Athena kind of invited herself. They also invited Edgeworth, him and even Larry. They say third time's a charm, right? I really do hope it's happily ever after for them this time around. Still, I get the feeling it's going to be one rowdy party.
Ready when you are. Okay, here we go! Huh?
Oh, hey! Look who's next! Huh?
Get back! Haven't you ever heard of ladies?
When something smells, it's usually the butts, remember?
I'm truly blessed to have you.
He keeps getting himself in this trouble. Like that, it says it's just karma, I guess, in its own way. Anyway, now regardless, that does finish up Term of Time Travel and every. Oh, that's a nice end team photo as well. It should pop up. Oh, that's a nice looking artwork. Oh, that's a cool artwork. I just want to see it a bit more. Oh shoot, I was meant to. Yeah, that's a really nice artwork. Yep. Anyway, before I actually wrap up, because there's some things I want to show off for anyone who hasn't been paying attention. So, this was the thing that was also included in the trilogy. An orchestration hall, here's some of the nice songs that were presented in the game. I just want to show up a little bit. Some art library for like artworks and all that stuff. As well as any clips. So yes, these are all like nice little artworks we can all show off. Of course, any backgrounds and whatnot. And of course, the animation studio, which is any animations from the free games. Then I will go to Apollo. I just want to show you up a little bit before we wrap up. Say if I want to go to say Apollo Justice, maybe do like Headshake and Dialogue. It's all that stuff basically. Let's show up a little. And of course, the other thing that was shown off, I could have did, and I kept myself right. The Acolytes, which are essentially the trophies as well in this game, which we've been keeping up with. This is also how I was able to keep track on my trophies as well while I was playing this. But I think that'll be it for now. Officially, we are now done with Apollo Justice is Attorney Trilogy, which took us Near 5 months. Would you anyone believe that? We almost hit the 5 months. We were literally 1 week away from it, funny enough. But I mean, that's felt like a little close. But all right, things up here. Hope it's good. Hope it's weekend, a great weekend. I have to plan out next week. But that's next week. I've figured out what's as it go along. Regardless, KH2 tomorrow and whatnot. And with that, I'll see you next time. Bye.